We landed, opened our triptych from AAA, and headed down the highway with map in hand.
Here we are, starting our trip in Arizona, the Rock Tour, we're calling it, in our rented BMW convertible. Totally fun, and it's a gorgeous day, and you can see the cactus and the blue sky, and we're excited. Woohoo!
Our first stop would be Winslow, Arizona, and just like the song, it really was a fine sight to see.
The La Posada Inn on our patio. Can you hear the rumbling of the trains go by? This is the train stop in Winslow, Arizona on Highway 66.
La Posada means resting place, and architect Mary Coulter designed it to feel like an old Spanish hacienda. She was employed by Fred Harvey, who ran the Santa Fe Railroad. It opened in '29, but was only open for 27 years. The current owners saved the hotel from destruction in 1997, and its wife, who is an artist, hangs her paintings on the walls of the beautiful hotel. We ate in the turquoise room, and even though I'm not a vegetarian, the grilled vegetable platter was truly outstanding, with blue corn tamales filled with squash and corn, and mushroom roasted corn flan, to name a few. With our America the Beautiful National Parks pass in hand, we put the top down on our convertible and started our adventure in the Painted Desert and the Petrified Forest. There were many nice walks throughout the park, like the Crystal Forest Trail to see the beautiful petrified logs in all their glory. And we went to the Agate Bridge and the Blue Mesa Trail, which was a nice hike down into the canyon, and John did that and I enjoyed the view, which was quite beautiful. Our binoculars sure came in handy so we could enjoy Newspaper Rock and some of the other sites in the park that had amazing petroglyphs to see. We finished our visit off at Kachina Point in the Painted Desert Inn with its tremendous views, and then we were off to the Hubbell trading post. Next we were off to Canyon de Chelly National Monument in the Navajo Nation. The canyon walls rise steeply for about 1,000 feet, and searching for the cliff houses of the Anasazi was our favorite thing. With each drive, the rocks in the landscape change on our journey. Canyon de Chelly holds numerous sites that are sacred to the Navajo people. We were almost the only people in the park, so there was a lot of tranquility. Here you can see some of the examples of the amazing cliff houses. Next, off to Shiprock, New Mexico before heading to Cortez, Colorado to Mesa Verde. We found a nice little farm-to-table restaurant and then settled in for the night before starting our journey in the morning to Mesa Verde, where we discovered there was a bit of a snowstorm, but that didn't stop us. We made our way up and it was well worth it. Mesa Verde dwellings are some of the most notable and best preserved archaeological sites in the North American continent, and we were not disappointed. While we were there too early in the season to be able to accompany a ranger to actually explore them, we were able to get pretty close, and they were really amazing. It's very interesting to think about how after living on the mesa top for 600 years, they started to live beneath these overhanging cliffs. Why? We headed out next to Monument Valley. We got a little bit of every type of weather along this leg of the journey, but it sure was beautiful. Monument Valley, or the Valley of the Rocks, as it's called, is a region in the Colorado Plateau characterized by a cluster of vast sandstone buttes, the largest reaching 1,000 feet above the valley floor. It's located right on the Arizona-Utah border near the Four Corners area, right on Highway 163. We stayed at the View Hotel right on the Navajo Nation reservation. We were right among the rocks. They were amazing. They took turns in the spotlight so they could each be the star. The clouds and the sky and the colors put on quite a show for us. The hotel is built into a hill, and even the restaurant looks like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. We were up early to head to Page, Arizona. The pass was a little dicey with snow, which we weren't expecting. The only way to see Antelope Canyon, because it's on Navajo land, is to go with a tour. We had a great guide. His name was Josh, and he pointed out all of the various things and took our picture in a heart and pointed out the dragon. And then he asked us if we wanted to, instead of going back the same way, go outside of the canyon and see it from the top, which we did, and then go into another canyon that didn't have any tourists in it, which was also very special. Then we were on to the Grand Canyon. We visited the south rim as the other rim wasn't open yet. We were too early in the season. We learned that many of the buildings we were about to see were also designed by Mary Coulter. Our first stop was the Desert View Watchtower, done in 1934, shortly after we entered the park. It was modeled after ancient, ancestral Puebloan watchtowers found in the Four Corners region. The murals inside were done by Hopi artist Frank Caboti, and you could climb the stairs to the top for an outstanding view of the Grand Canyon. It was also really cool because we had just seen some of the designs that were inside that featured the petroglyphs when we were in the Petrified Forest Park. We checked into the Maswick Lodge, which was right in the park, and then went to explore the Bright Angel Lodge, which was also designed by Mary Coulter in 1935. We had a nice little steak dinner there. In the morning, we headed off to Hermit's Rest, another Mary Coulter building done in 1914. Point for the 12-mile ridge hike John was going to take, and I was going to take the shuttle bus to some of the prime spots and just walk to the points of interest. It was an ideal way for both of us to explore. Powell's Point had a monument at the end of it, and it had great views of the Colorado River. There was so much beauty in the canyon with the colors and light. I went over to check out the little railroad station and met Station Master Bill and got a little bit of the history. And then I wandered over the Hopi House, also designed by Mary Coulter, and checked out El Tovar, where we would be having dinner this evening. We had a really nice dinner, and it was followed by a little live entertainment. After a few days in the Grand Canyon, we went to Williams, Arizona for a little breakfast on Route 66. Then we explored Jerome, Arizona, a ghost town just outside of Sedona. And then there were the red rocks of Sedona, and we checked into our hotel, the El Portal, for a little relaxing evening. Then we went off to see Montezuma's Castle before we ended up in Old Town Scottsdale for our last night of our vacation. Cocktails by the pool to conclude the rock tour.